Hello, birdie.
Beautiful, and I love her. I don't know who he's talking about. Selena, I may have no right to judge, but I have a mother's right to worry. Take care of my favorite son.
So, I'm not clear now. Am I staying or going?
Well, it depends how you read the accounts.
The accounts?
It turns out the original plan for the hotel is good. It works. Just not in the hands of a lunatic.
I knew that plan was good.
What the place needs is money and guests. Starting with the ones that are already here.
Unfortunately, my investor, Mr. Maruti, has decided that while he greatly admires my endeavors,
He's reconsidered.
you spoke to him.
So long as there's somebody sane to help the manager.
No, the manager needs no help, madam. The manager needs a little help.
So will you stay?
I'd like to.
In the shack on the roof?
We have a double room, bathroom, ensuite, and a fully working door.
So,
Mr. Dashwood, as you know, has recently checked out.
Oh.
in light of a video I made a couple back about, I called it the humming fly. It's a hoverfly. I always confuse that and how they're quote-unquote camouflaged to look like a bee, or that's the story. I decided
What about you, Mrs. Greenslade?
to talk a little bit again about the way things fit,
We haven't talked much, have we, you and I?
and
Mind us.
hopefully it'll become more clear as I
Will you stay?
go on. But
I'm not sure what
I'll
I
be
shall do.
using this movie a lot.
Nothing here has worked out quite as I expected.
Using this movie a lot to talk about it, and I wanted to look at this guy under a microscope, but it's really hard. I'm going to try here in a bit to put him on this little contraption so I can move him around and put my camera on top. Because when I just put the thing over him, there's not enough room. It doesn't quite work. Basically, I don't know where to start with this, but it's going to be about black and yellow and bees and things that look like bees, and black and yellow in our environment, our social environment, our symbolic environment, and not necessarily a deep study, but hopefully just a broad personal account. And I had a pretty massive brainstorm this weekend, like literally one of those ones where it's just it was tough getting through it. And I was originally going to make this movie in one take, but after staying up all night and so on, it was just one of those exhausting things, and it's related to other brainstorms I've had in the past. And I was gonna not do it. I decided, forget it. It's just too crazy, and I'm too crazy, in too crazed of a state to do it. But then I thought, well, no, it's worth commenting on. And watching that scene in that movie yesterday while I was decompressing a bit, I thought, well, yeah, hey, maybe there's something here, and I'll explore it a little further. And one of the things, so again, it's about that other humming fly bee, or hoverfly, and this little wasp, which I found almost in the same place where I made that other video, except I found it the next day when on the other side of the house I knocked down a, a hornet's nest. As it turns out, there were hornets in them, you know, but I hate to do it, but it's trim I have to paint. That's my job. I paint stuff, and I try not to hurt things. And also, I react. You know, some people are afraid of spiders or or snakes or this or that, but for me, like being close to a bee, my whole body just jerks. Like I can't control it at all. If I know I'm going to be around bees or so on, then I'm a little bit better. But like when I'm climbing on a roof or something, I I'm more afraid that I'm going to get startled and fall or just jump like without thinking about it. Um, which sounds crazy, but I've done similar things before. And one time I almost poked my eyes out with a putty knife. Because I had a putty knife in my hand and a bee flew at my face, and I just whacked my face, and you know, it wasn't very smart. But I know that about myself. So anyway, I knocked down this nest, I squashed it, and I sprayed a bunch of bee spray. I'm not proud of it. Right? People say, "Oh, you leave them alone, you know, they'll leave you alone." But you know, for the ones, if there's one or two or three or four, you know, but they see you mushing their place and their hard work and their kids, and they're gonna fuck with you. And I don't like them or me mentality, but you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things about society. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying it's right, but I did it, and that's that. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this might have come out of that nest, but it didn't get squished. It was really well preserved. And like I said, I found it in pretty much the same place on the other side of the house where I made that original video. So that was a good little connection if you consider, well, you know, its unfortunate demise a good thing. But anyway, I have this other old video which I'd been wanting to find a place for, and now I have a place for it. And this was from several years ago. And actually I got this one, which is just on the black and yellow theme. Whoops, that's not the right one. Let's see here. That's a ways down. There we go. That is larva poop from a wild carrot flower. Queen Anne's lace. There are these particular little larvae that live in there and live and poop in there. And under a microscope, this is what it looks like. And it just so happens to be yellow and black. Good little connection. And I'll get to more on that. I'm going to touch on that again. This little guy. So that's a hoverfly. This is a nice little video. It was when my car died several years back. The car I'd had for years, and then I was switching all my stuff over from one to this other one that I borrowed a couple days later or a day later. When my car died, I was so distraught. I was about 34 miles from home, and I just walked home. It took me from like 8 o'clock at night till 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little longer. And I'm not used to that type of thing. It was after working all day. It was pretty hot. Thought I might die. And I didn't think I'd be able to walk for like a week, but anyway, that's like a whole nother story, but pretty poignant day for me. But at least I got, and this was the next day. Or I guess kinda like 2 days later, the next day from when I got home. Yeah, this is a good one. It just so happens, in a minute, he's gonna poop. I hope we can catch it. Now, his blackness isn't quite as black, and his eyes aren't black, and I say he, could be a she. I'm very much like that. I'm very influenced by the male pronoun, and I know there's all kinds of things you could say about me for that, and, oh, there it was! Little poop. But, it's nothing I haven't said for myself. And then speaking of poop and yellow and black, Batman's logo is yellow and black. So there's a strong Bat connection with yellow and black, because there's a strong connection in our culture between Batman and bats. It's hard in our culture to think about bats without thinking about Batman. And the most famous Batman logo is yellow and black. And today, at work, as often I do, as any painter does, or builder, or anybody who works outside around buildings. Let's see. Yep, found some bat poop today, so I'm going to look at that next under the microscope also. And another yellow and black connection, kind of, and a poop connection. So, I'm just going to try to make these connections centered around the whole idea of the yellow and black and the bees, but also yellow, black, and red. Orange will slip in there slightly, but mostly only like a red glazed orange with yellow and black, and not so much like a pumpkin orange. And I guess I'll get to going on more about that as well. And a lot of this again has to do with a similar video I've made before, and I'll reference again here. This will be a video made of a collage of videos, of clips. There's no way I could do it in one take. Well, there's a way I could have, but it just didn't happen, so. But like similar forms, and just the whole idea of like evolution and like Darwin, Lamarck, so on and so forth, but like a third option of, you know, the way things are entwined, the way things are sewn together, the way, you know, essentially archetypal forms shoot through us, and the way like that this, you know, another way of thinking about it might be like that this creature isn't camouflaging itself to protect itself by looking like a bee, but that this creature and that creature, from our perspective as we see them, because there might be other creatures with other types of eyes who don't see them the same color, but we do. So that's an association that we make, but that they share, and certainly it does, you know, it does protect them in so much as people may be startled by them, but good luck hitting a hoverfly. But that they share some other aspect, some other like essential form. And so we're going to try to discuss that a little bit, and yellow and blackness in general, yellow and blackness as it is in our society, and then we're also going to have to touch on bananas. You know, ripe bananas essentially are yellow and black, I can't eat them if they're not at least half black. So I know when they're not ripe, they're yellow and green. But also when bees aren't ripe, they're larvae. You know, a ripe bee is a bee, an unripe bee is a larva, and then they're pretty much white. So, you know, I feel like I'm not violating anything by choosing ripe bananas to talk about. But essentially, another hive. You know, most bananas everywhere in the world are not only just one species, one individual plant that just keeps getting, like, I don't know what it's called, not spliced off, like they cut a piece or a growth, or I forget what it's called, but it's one individual plant that has dominated the world for years. It's like I wouldn't say it's the oldest individual, but I mean, it's massive. It's everywhere. It spans the whole friggin' earth. One individual. It's basically the dominant individual of the planet right now. A banana. The one banana, the banana that everybody buys in the supermarket, that is the dominant individual on the planet.